Alright, so we'll begin by converting the SRT file. I'll just drag this into the converter here. We'll probably want to check all of the checkboxes on the left-hand side here. And I shall change the case to sentence spacing, or sentence capitalization, just because I kind of like that. And I shall hit start. And then we should be able to see a preview of the output. Yep, everything looks good, and so we can then save it. There, we have our converted.txt, and that's just the just what we see here. So then we can take our converted Audacity labels and take it into the character tagger here, and we'll just load this into the middle column here for Audacity labels. And then we'll want to get the transcript for matching the names to. So we'll go here to the wiki, and we will grab the transcripts from here. All right, so before we just paste it in there, we'll probably want to do a little bit of editing first. So we'll paste it here. First thing we'll probably want to do is notice how it breaks the naming scheme for the song here. So we'll probably just want to remove that. That won't be too much to tag manually, so I'll just remove it. There we go. And then the other thing we'll want to do is notice these spaces here. We'll want to get rid of those. And an easy way we can do that is just use the replace function. So yeah, it has it here, and we'll want to replace it just with nothing. We'll just hit replace all. There we go. Looks like that fixed it. If we did not do that, it would end up with a bunch of spacing in the label titles if we were to just convert it like that. So let's just copy all of that, and we can take it back over to the tagger here, and we'll then paste that into this. Let's see. Now you can add a prefix, you can add a suffix, and you can shift the letters over. So if you have like another naming scheme already set up, you can shift it further into the label. I'm just going to hit start and see what it looks like. Alright, so we can see our preview, and as we can see, the name is right up against the number. So I think I will want to add a bit of a prefix, just something like that, and I think I will add a hyphen to the end of it as well. So let's see what that looks like. Alright, so that's looking much better. At least as far as we can tell looking at the window here. Scrolling all the way through, it looks like it's got all of it, so we'll hit save. Just hit save. And then if we were to open this up in Notepad++ here, we can see that it has most of the character names. Obviously, it doesn't have all of them, as you can tell. The reason it can't do all of them is because there is differences in the spellings and abbreviations between the subtitle file and the transcript. And also things like having pony number 2 for when it's indicating a different pony speaking here will interfere with its matching ability. So there's that, but it'll definitely give you a good start. And other episodes tend to be a bit better than this. Usually I think about 80% of the lines do get tagged. This one seems to be a bit on the lower side. But once you got that, you can just manually go through and just compare it to the transcript and enter in the names. So, as you can see, we just scroll up and enter it in. So, yeah. So there's that. And then once we have that, we can then import it into Audacity. So we'll just open up Audacity here. And we shall go here. And first we'll want to get the dialog. Alright, then we'll want to go import labels. I've already made up a set of labels just for this here. So let's try this one. Okay, so as you can see, I used a little bit of a different naming scheme here. I actually named this label file manually. So that's why there's the abbreviations. But then we can go just export, oops, not labels. Well, actually, yeah, we want to export the labels, I think. I've already exported this, so I will just show you it in the notepad here. So this is what we'll usually end up with at the end of tagging it here. And what I usually like to do to get the to tag the emotions is I will have the episode up as well as like a guide here, a key for single letters to tag emotions. So, and another thing that I like to do is I will put in another set of hyphens here, just using the macro function of Notepad++. The macro function here is quite useful, so a nice thing to have. But for example, here I'm just going to go put 2 spaces and a hyphen, and then we'll just bring it back and down. And we'll just test it. And so as long as it's 3 characters, it'll stay the same. You can use the arrow keys to shift it as needed. You could figure out a faster way of doing this, but as it is, it doesn't take very long, so I'm just going to show this here. And so basically, then what you'll do is just get your keyboard ready, get your file ready, and as it plays, I just tag it as it goes. So as we'll see here. So they seem kind of, I don't know. I didn't really put neutral, but you can just go with it as it goes along. It's typically easy enough just to write it as it's playing. So that's what I've been doing. And then what you can do is just do another replace over here in Notepad++. So if you have the hyphen set up like I do here, you can just go replace like this. Just go something like that, and we want to replace it with just the full spelling of the emotion here. And then you can just hit replace all. And that's kind of why I have the key here, just to keep it consistent. And so at the end, I can just go through and replace each of the letters with the emotion. And so once we have that, it should look something like this file over here, or, well, not this one, rather this file right here. So as we can see, we have this should be a completed one here. So we have the character name, we have the emotion, and we have the transcript, as well as the noise markers at the end. So then we can just import this back into Audacity. Let's see, Audacity. We can close out of the old label file, and we can just import the new labels. So I believe that was that file. We can hit open. As you can see, we can just...
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So as you can see, all the tags are pretty good. And so then we can go File, Export, export multiple here. And then, you just configure where you want it to go and hit Export. And if you follow the Google Doc, you'll see how to actually disable this dialog here, so you don't have to just hold down the Enter button while it goes through. Obviously, I haven't done that yet, but you can do that. So as you can see, it takes just a second. It'd probably be a lot faster had I disabled that dialog box. But there we go. So we can see it's exported 386 files. Yeah. So if we go over to the file here, we can see we have the folder, and it's all there. Another thing I will say about the tagging script is it will automatically remove the sound effects. So if there's like something in brackets, like say this prolonged gasp here, it will just automatically remove that from the output. Although this is the transcripts here, so that wouldn't really have an effect there, but in the labels it'll do that. So there you go. Hopefully that was useful.